So this is the watch Jimmy, Mr. Beast, purchased in his video where he got ripped, where he went to the pawn shop and gave it up for 100 grand. If you don't believe me, I have where he bought it from. This is the jewelers he bought it from. And then you have his Mr. Beast LLC. And he spent $14,000. It comes with the box, which is pretty nice. $13,995, which is annoying. All right, it should just be $14,000. He spent $14,000, and then when he pawned it for like $7,200. All right, so how did he lose $7,000? That's a lot. You just walk from one place and go to another. And we're going to find that out. I mean, these are Rolexes, right? Who ripped them off? Was it the pawn shop? Was it the dealer? Was it both of them? How much is this watch right here? Well, I'll tell you. What am I asking you for? This is pretty much the same thing. Submariner, except a blue dial, which is even better. And we're selling this for $10,000. If that's how much he should have bought this watch for. $10,000, maybe with the box, you know, $10,500. But he spent $14,000. Then the pawn shop gave him, right? We as dealers can get it for obviously less than $10,500. And the pawn shop gave him $7,200. They could have gave him $8,000. So they did it fair. But then the pawn shop turned it back around and sold it for $12,000. That's the receipt. That's where we came in and we were able to grab it from the pawn shop, from the guy that picked it up from the pawn shop. That's why we have it here. And we lasered the logo on the back. So for those 100 million people that watched the story, it wasn't the pawn shop that ripped them off. It was the jewelers, where he bought it for some reason, for $14,000. That even the pawn shop sold it after for only $12,000. He got, you know, beaten over the head, as we say in the industry over here. What does that amount to? That amounts to not to get ripped. I mean, $14,000 for something you get for $10,000? Sounds like bullshit to me.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the story behind Jimmy's watch. Now that we've lasered his logo and did everything on that, and we have the original watch. We put this back in the showcase. I got it, gentlemen. We have that watch. How much is it worth now after all that video? Probably a little bit more. Probably, you know, as his career goes on and the story of this legend of this watch goes on, you know, in the year 2075, this will be at the Antiques Roadshow, and someone will open up and say, actually, this isn't just a regular Submariner. This is the one where he'll be like Walt Disney by then, you know, on that size, or Elon Musk, or even bigger. This is the wish, and this could go for easily at auction, they'll say, for the equivalent of $150,000, which in 2075 will be probably 1.5 million or something like that when inflation and inflation. So these are the values, that's the game, and this is Mr. Beast's watch, and we have it here. All right, you own this watch, you could quite possibly use it as a retirement if you own it, because it has this history, quite possibly. You know, if people remember. That's why this video is going to be up, for someone to watch as the time goes on, to have proof of what happened, a record. Someone's going to log on to YouTube, if they're even going to log on in those days, or they're going to have an archive like we do now, black and white or whatever it is, and they're going to be like, watch this video. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, this is the history about your watch, and so on and so forth. Unless we let the nukes fire off, and then there's just going to be ashes in the world, and people are going to use this to eat food. But aside from that, you have a timepiece that could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, because Mr. Beast got ripped off for $4,000.